Hello, students, and good evening, and Jai Hind to everybody. I am Arya Solanki, All India Rank 28, Afcat, and I will be taking a general English, that is idioms and phrases today. And from tomorrow, majorly, we will be concentrating entirely on reasoning as well as a little bit of quant and some general awareness on side by side. So today's topic is idioms and phrases. So we'll be doing the second part. The first part has been recorded and will be uploaded super soon. So let's get along with the second part. So why idioms and phrases are important? So idioms and phrases are majorly asked in all these exams because they test your communication skills. So they are asked between a marking range of 3 to 12. That's why if you are aiming to get into the merit list and into those academies, so it is very important that you master these idioms and phrases. So let's go. Now our first idiom for today is beat around the bush. So what is its meaning? To avoid talking about what's important. Just say, for example, we know that something that this issue is very important, but we are too embarrassed to even discuss about it. So what we do, we don't talk about it, but we talk everything around it. We avoid that topic from being discussed. So what we are doing at that particular time, we are beating around the bush. So we all do that from time to time. Now the second idiom is get your act together, which means get organized and do things effectively. So when you're preparing for any defense or competitive or any XYZ exam which requires your efforts, what you need to do? You need to get your act together by preparing a schedule, preparing a timetable, following it actively, being disciplined. So all of this makes an act and you have to get it together. Back against the wall. Now, what does that mean? Stuck in a difficult circumstance with no escape. So, whenever we are stuck in a very difficult situation and we find our escape very, that impossible, that it is no, it is not possible to get out from here. So, if we are mentally stuck into such a situation, so what is that? It is our back against the wall. Now moving on to the next class, next question that is up in arms. And what does it mean? It means being grumpy or angry about something. So whenever you fight with someone or you are in a quarrel or some misunderstanding happens, so you hold on to it. You are angry about it and you be grumpy. So what is that? You are doing what idiom will you use in that particular time? Up in arms. Now next is scrape the barrel. It means making the most of the worst situations or things. Now, for example, something bad has happened to us, unimaginably bad. But what someone or everyone around us advises us that okay, if it has happened, just focus on what you can extract, what possibly good things you can extract out of it. So, what does it mean in an idiom term? Scrape the barrel. The sixth idiom is burn your boats slash bridges. So it can also be asked as burn your boats. It can also be asked as burn your bridges. So it will have a common meaning, that is doing something that makes it impossible to go back to the original state. For example, nowadays students are literally, entirely distracted by all of these online surfing websites, Instagram, and all this social media thing. So whenever we are getting focused for an exam, for example, NDA or Afcat or CDS or anything. So first thing any student prefers to do is they deactivate their social handles. Why? Because it serves as a distraction. So they don't want to, go back there again and get distracted again. So what they are doing, they are burning their bridge so that they cannot access back to that distraction. Another is break fresh or new ground. Similarly, it can also be asked as break new ground. So what does it mean? Doing something that has never been done before. So if you some amongst you acquire the highest possible marks that have been ever acquired in ND or FCAT. So what did you do? You break fresh or you break new ground. So you did that. Now another, sell like hot cakes. It means a quick sellout. For example, in Indore also many shops are famous for their eatables, or for anything that they sell, for clothes or anything. So they have to happen like as soon as they prepare something, it entirely gets sold out. So what idiom will be used in a situation like that? Sell like hot cakes. Now the ninth idiom is run around in circles. What does a circle signify here? An infinite, never ending loop. So putting efforts into something that is not giving a worthwhile result. So if you're running around in circles, that means you're not going or you're not reaching to your destiny. You're just blindly following a route. Now the 10th idiom, on cloud nine. So this is actually one of my favorite idiom. Whenever I'm happy, I tend to use it, that I'm on cloud nine. So what does that mean? That you are being very happy. You're being very joyous. So if you get to know that you have cleared your written, or if you get to know that you're finally in the merit list, so you will be in that cloud nine. Now next is left out in the cold, meaning being ignored. So whenever you are in a group, sometimes a person is talking and no other one is concentrating on what he or she is talking. So what that person faces, he or she is left out in the cold. 12th idiom, blow hot and cold, which means alternate inconsistently between moods and actions. All right. So when there is inconsistency, we tend to say that इसको तो mood swings हो रहे हैं. ठीक है? When someone goes entirely happy from being sad, or entirely sad from being happy in just like that in a snip, then that is what blow hot and cold. Another is cut corners, which means doing something in an easier and least expensive manner. So we all do that from time to time, and it's very good if you are doing like that. If anything can be achieved in a less less expensive way or a more feasible way, so let's do that. So what if you are able to achieve something in a less expensive way, in a more pocket friendly way? So that will be called as cutting the corners. Now 15th idiom, boil the ocean. Now from the words itself, it's easy to boil a container, it's easy to even boil a glass, it's easy to boil even a big container, but it's actually, I won't even use the word easy, it's impossible to burn the oceans or boil the oceans. So boil the ocean, what will it mean? It will mean taking up an almost impossible task. All right. So if someone is telling that I want to jump without parachute from Burj Khalifa and I want to land safe, so that is totally impossible, and that is what boiling the ocean. Now 16th idiom, eat like a horse, eating too excessively. So sometimes we almost of the students live in hostels for preparing for their competitive exams or anything. So they crave for their mother's food. So as soon as they reach their home during some vacations or something, and their mother prepares something very delicious, so they eat it excessively. They can't control from not eating. So that what is happening there. They are eating like a horse. Now 17th idiom is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, sliced bread is considered to be a very good invention, of course, as it is used daily and is a cereal food for West countries. So, the best thing since sliced bread, its meaning is a really good invention. For example, light. When light was invented, someone must have said that it is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, 18th idiom, put something on ice, which means to put something on hold. So whenever you're having conversation and it's getting too dark, but you want to continue that conversation later on, what you'll say, let's put this conversation on ice for today. We will start on from tomorrow. 19th idiom is bite the bullet. Now it means to get something over with because it is inevitable. What does that actually means? Whenever a danger is approaching you, all right, so it is inevitable that it will approach. इसका मतलब क्या है? वो तो आपके पास आएगा ही. सो इससे अच्छा है कि आप उस डेंजर का वेट करो और उतने देर में यू फियर अबाउट इट हैपनिंग, just face it directly. So facing a danger which is inevitable to come is what? Biting the bullet. Now 20th idiom. Go back to the drawing board. What does it means? Starting over. So for all the students that worked very hard last year but could not clear the cutoff or could not get recommended despite all the hard work or everything, and they still got all the efforts, they collected themselves, they motivated themselves, and now they're again studying with a new dream and hope in their mind. So what is that? They're going back to the drawing board and they're starting over with all of their efforts again. 21st idiom is call it a day. Now, what does it mean? It means that stop working on something. For example, this idiom is predominantly used for corporate terms. So whenever there is a hectic day, entire day of work and meetings and everything. So how do they pause it, or how do they say to carry it over to the next day? The term that is used is call it a day. Yeah, it's a lot of work that has happened today, so let's call it a day. 22nd, be in a tight corner means being in a difficult situation. For example, just imagine if two of your best friends fight and they make you stand there as a judge and you cannot take sides because both of them are your best friends. So, what you are in a difficult situation, you are in a tight corner. Now, next, at the 11th hour, at the last moment. So many of students tend to do that. They do not complete their projects or even their syllabus till it is very late, till it is almost a day before the exam, and then they sit for the entire night studying and getting anxious that how will I be able to complete all this syllabus, and they tend to think yaar shuru se hi pad lena tha, starting se hi pad lena tha. So what is that? That is studying at the 11th hour. So postponing a thing till the end minute. So that idiom will be called as at the 11th hour. Now coming to 24th idiom, it means swan song. Now for example, why is it used? It is actually used when something, for example, there is an artist, just imagine KK. So before he died, the last song that he might have sung before he died, so that will be his swan song. So the last piece of work of an artist before his or her death is known as swan song. All right. Coming to 25th idiom, wild goose chase. So futile chase. So wild goose chase, why does we say that? Whenever we are searching for anything which is worthless, all right, it is not even worth chasing it or worth fighting over it or worth thinking over it. What is the idiom that will be used at that time? The idiom that will be used is wild goose chase. Now coming to 26th idiom, bury the hatchet, ending a quarrel to make peace. So we all do that from time to time whenever we are in a quarrelsome situation or we are angry or there is a misunderstanding, but we sit together, make peace out of it, solve that misunderstanding. So what are we doing here? We are burying the hatchet. Now coming to the 27th idiom, to bell the cat, to face a risk. For example, we are onto something too risky and we are not afraid of it, but we are directly facing it. So, what does that mean, to bell the cat? It also means sometimes to, call the danger on your own. Means the cat, for example, imagine that the cat is the danger, all right, and the cat is sleeping. So, it is sleeping peacefully, but you go and disturb it and then it pounces on you. So it can be used in both the meanings, that calling a danger when it is not supposed to be but you're calling it. Another, turn a deaf ear, to ignore. All right, so whenever you want to say something and people cannot hear it or people choose not to hear it, so what are they doing? They're turning a deaf ear. Now 29th idiom, to be in the doldrums. What does that mean? Okay, so there is that repeated, the meaning is repeated. I'll correct it and I'll put it in the recorded video. Do not worry. Now coming to the 30th idiom, twist someone's arm means to convince someone. Now, that does not actually mean that you'll be twisting someone's arm in order to convince them. So whenever you are in a situation that there is a contradicting opinion, there is a difference of opinion of where to go, where to eat, and you have to convince them to go to the place of your choice, or to eat of your choice, or to do anything of your choice. So convincing a person for your opinions is what? Is twisting arms. Okay, so we are clear here. So today I think we are done with idioms and phrases of second part, and the first part was a recorded lecture. I will be trying to upload it soon, and from tomorrow we will be focusing on reasoning, as I said, with a bit of quant as well as general awareness side by side. And that general awareness will predominantly consist of all the static portion. All right, so in that we will start with first in world, first in male female, first in sports, and everything that comes. And reasoning will be entirely concentrated on the previous year asked questions, and majorly asked topics, and we will thoroughly practice them. So be connected, and tomorrow's class timing will also be 7 to 8. Jai Hind.